Our discussion now is on peptic ulcer disease. When we speak of peptic ulcer disease, this literally means there happens to be an erosion or an excavation or worse, a buslot on any parts of the stomach or that of the intestines. The usual thing we know is that kung naaga ni ulcer, nasamad ang stomach. Well, that's the layman's understanding about what peptic ulcer disease is. Nasamad ang iyahang stomach. But that is not always true. Di punta kabasol nila because from the word peptic ulcer disease, peptic actually means the stomach. But PUD or peptic ulcer disease is not limited to just that of the stomach because this may happen either at the esophagus, at the stomach, or at the duodenum. In fact, you will learn later on that the most common type of peptic ulcer disease is not even that in the stomach. Ang pinaka-common gani class is those that happens at the level of the duodenum. So again, when we speak of peptic ulcer disease, this refers to the presence of an erosion or an excavation at the level of either sa esophagus, sa stomach, or sa duodenum. When I ask people about what could have caused peptic ulcer disease, most commonly ang itubag nila kay naamanggod siya hyperacidity, sir, or sobra manggod ang iyahang acid. Well, that is not always the case, class, because there are some ulcers which are actually caused by excessive acid, and some ulcers are not even a problem in the levels of acid. No? What do I mean? There are two categories that could have caused peptic ulcer disease. Okay? This could either be number one, an increase in the production of acid or hydrochloric acid. Or it could be number two, a decrease in the levels of protection, which refers to the mucus. To understand that, class, let's have a quick look about our gastrointestinal tract. Diba, this is our esophagus. Then this is our stomach. Then this is the duodenum. Our stomach contains acid. But the question is, diin man day na gikan ang acid. Ang acid, class, is gikan na siya sa gastric parietal cells. So our hydrochloric acid comes from the gastric parietal cells. We have gastric parietal cells found all over. Gikan sa fundus, sa corpus, sa pylorus, or even at the pyloric sphincter, kutob sa ato ang mga duodenum. We have gastric parietal cells that produces these acids which are essential for the digestion of food that comes into it. Kay precisely mao man ay trabaho sa ato ang stomach. The stomach must digest. How? It digests by mixing acid into the food. Kinsay naghimo ana? The gastric parietal cells. Now, could it be harmful as well to the stomach? Well, the answer is no. Why? Because our stomach also has another kind of cell which produces mucus that coats it. We call that, class, as the gastric epithelial cells. Meaning to say, the gastric epithelial cell produces mucus to coat the stomach and protect it against the acid, while the gastric parietal cells produce the hydrochloric acid necessary for the digestive process. So, kung maghisgot ka ni tag nanubra ang imong acid, kinsay atong basulon? Gastric parietal cells. Kung maghisgot ka ni tao, nihinay ang atong mucus production, kinsay atong basulon? The gastric epithelial cells. So that's basic. Now, as I have said, ulcer could either be caused by an increase in the amounts of acid, hydrochloric acid, or a reduction in the defense or protection of the stomach through the decrease in the amounts of mucus. It's important to distinguish that, class, because by understanding these two classes of causes would help us understand the different kinds of ulcer. Di na lang ta maghiskot anang esophageal ulcer because esophageal ulcer is not a separate condition, but rather, ang esophageal ulcer is merely a complication of certain conditions, which we all know, pinaka-common na din ha, ang gastroesophageal reflux disease. Sa ato pa, maghiskot kanita og esophageal ulcer, ayaw na, dili na sakit. It's a complication of GERD. That's why when you look at your books, when you go through Google, or when you go through ChatGPTs, you would notice nga, duha raman di ay kaklase ang ulcer, correct? There are two classes of ulcers. One is stomach ulcer or gastric ulcer, and one is duodenal ulcer. Di mo kitag esophageal ulcer. Because esophageal ulcer, again, is merely a complication of GERD. I have mentioned these two classes of peptic ulcer disease class because it has a strong relation to these two causes of peptic ulcer. Si increased acid o si decreased mucus. Nga naman, kung musubra manggod ang imuhang acid production class, it cannot harm the stomach. It cannot harm the stomach itself kung sobra ka sa acid. Nga naman, sir, because again, we have a mucosal barrier which coats or protects the stomach from the excessive acid. Walay problema sa sobra-sobra nga acid. Kaya na siya ma-withstand sa atuang stomach. Ang problema is, kung sobra ang imong acid, pwede man gud na siya class mo, awas. O kung muawas na siya, akong pangutana, kung sobra ka sa acid diri sulod sa tiyan, asa man ka muawas? Di ba muawas ka padulong sa imuhang duodenum? And that is what causes duodenal ulcer. Meaning to say, hypersecretion of acid could lead to duodenal ulcers. Kung sobra sa acid sulod sa tiyan, why problema sa tiyan kay kaya na sa atong tiyan. Kay naamang kay gastric epithelial cells which produces the mucosal barrier. How about the decreased mucus production? Pasabot anang gastric ulcer class ang samad naa sa mismong stomach. Unsa man kay nakapasamad sa imuhang stomach? Again, it's not the excessive acid that makes erosion to the stomach. It is not the excessive acid, but rather the deficiency in the protection to the stomach. So kung ang imong stomach walay mucosal lining to this area, pwede sad na siyang masamad, and we call that as gastric ulcer. Meaning to say, if increased acid production is to duodenal ulcer, then reduced mucus production is to gastric ulcer. Klaro ba na, class?
Yes, sir.
So let's summarize that so far before we proceed. Again, peptic ulcer refers to the erosion of either esophagus, stomach, or duodenum. This erosion to these areas are caused by either of two things: sobra sa acid or kuwang sa proteksyon ng mucus. Kung musubra ang imuhang acid, way problema kung naara sa sulod sa stomach. Kay kaya na siya nga i-defend sa imong stomach, kay naalagi siya mucus produced by the gastric epithelial cells. However, when this excess acid overflows asaman adtos duodenum, then the duodenum do not have this mucosal protection man. So this duodenum would have to have ulcerations, and that causes duodenal ulcer. On the other hand, when the mucosal protection is reduced, it's a defense problem, then that could lead to gastric ulcers. Now, let's understand. What are those instances, class, where there could have been increased acid production in the stomach? Unsa man to nga mga instances nga pwedeng musubra ang imuhang hydrochloric acid production in the stomach? Number one, this could be caused by chronic stress. Take note, class, that I have emphasized that the cause is not stress, but rather one that is chronic already. Nga naman, class, muhiskot ganita og stress, that could activate the sympathetic nervous system. Okay? So that could activate the sympathetic nervous system. However, when the stress becomes chronic, the sympathetic nervous system becomes exhausted, that parasympathetic nervous system comes in. And when parasympathetic nervous system is activated, this could lead to increased production of mucus, or increased production of hydrochloric acid. Meaning to say, sympa versus para. Sympathetic is otherwise known as your fight or flight response in cases of stress. And parasympathetic is the rest and digest. And that is precisely because of digestion that we need to produce increased acid to the body. Okay? Now, if na-stress ang usa ka tawo, acute, kinsa may ma-activate? Sympathetic, parasympathetic. So sympathetic is to acute form of stress, meaning padong barong ka mabanggaan og bus, nahulog barong kas imuhang gilingkuran, or nasunugan baron mo, or naabay kawatan ni gukod nimo, or pagtan-aw nimo nawagtang imong wallet gikulbaan ka og kalit. These are acute kinds of stress. Or mukalit baron og ingon si Attorney Gab nga get 1/4 sheet of paper. O these are sympathetics, meaning because they are sympathetic, they are those which causes reduced acid and reduced gastric motility. That is not the issue that we have. Ang atong issue is kanus aman mudaghan ang acid. That is when parasympathetic comes in. And when does that take place? It takes place when the body is too exhausted by chronic stress such that parasympathetic comes in. And when parasympathetic comes in, rest digest, increased acid. Meaning to say, what could have caused increased acid production is not stress, but rather chronic stress. Parasympathetic nervous system stimulation could lead to increased acid production. So number one cause nga nung musubra ang atong acid class is when we have chronic stress. Number two is when we are exposed to stimulants. Unsa man ang mga stimulants? These are those that we find from food, for example, or from drinks. Example, alcohol, caffeine, spicy foods, or even smoking are stimulants. So having all of these stimulants class could trigger the production of more acid. That's why when you have too much coffee, you produce too much acid as well. So katong mga taong ulceron ug mga pi sila muhapdos ang ilahang tiyan. So nganong mga pi pa man? Diba? Because coffee, alcohol, spicy foods, no? These are stimulants which could trigger the production of more and more acids. And kung musubra ang acid, maharm ba si stomach? Dili. Dili. Ang problema is kay muawas ang sobra nga acid padulong sa duodenum, boslot ang duodenum. Unsay tawag? Duodenal ulcer. So duodenal ulcer is after all a situation where there is extreme or increased production of acid such as those caused by parasympathetic in cases of stress. Sakto? Dili. Stress? Dili. Dili. Chronic stress. Or those that had been exposed to certain stimulants. Or pasinaakay sakit. Ang tawag sa sakit is the Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Sir, unsa man ang Zollinger-Ellison syndrome? Well, it's an acid-secreting tumor found at the gastric triangle. Unsa to, sir? It's an acid-secreting tumor found at the gastric triangle. Simple raman na. Naay tumor nga way laing trabaho kundili mag-secrete og sobra-sobra nga acid. Ug asa man na sila commonly nakita nga tumor? Basta naa gani kay tumor nga makita sa gastric triangle, more often than not, that is a Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Sir, asa man ang gastric triangle? Naa na siya gikan sa imuhang gallbladder, panaog sa duodenum, pasaka sa pancreas, pabalik sa gallbladder. O aron makita ninyo, mao ni siya porma. This is the gastric triangle. Gikan sa gallbladder, panaog sa duodenum, pasaka sa pancreas, pabalik sa gallbladder. What shape do you form? So any tumor that you find on any of these areas is more often than not a Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. And this Zollinger-Ellison syndrome is one which produces an acid. It's an acid-secreting tumor. Okay? And because there are several tumors that produce acid, then there is excessive production of acid. Basta gani tumor class, excessive yun na. Timanan yun na ninyo, basta tumor, sobra yun na. Anong sobra man na? Tumor man, one more on tato para gamay ra. Ya, tumor man. So bisag unsa nga tumor na agad na excessive production. For example, na ay tumor sa thyroid gland. Would that be hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism? Hyper basta na ay tumor. Okay? Basta na ay tumor sa pituitary gland. Would that be hyperpituitary or hypopituitary? Hyperpituitarism basta na ay tumor. Okay? So kani naamang kay tumor sa imuhang gastric triangle. Would there be increased acid production or reduced acid production? Increased. Nya kung naay increased acid production, maguba ba ang tiyan? Dili. Dili. Pero moawa siya sa buslot ang duodenum unsay sakit? Duodenal ulcer. So that's one, no? You have your Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Another one is when you have your hurried and irregular meals. Kinsa man diri mo kaon o sa kaplato o sa kaminuto. 1 plate per minute. Mao na iyahang speed of eating. Nganong ingon na naman, sir, why could it cause ulcer? Why could there be ulcerations? Nganong ma-ulcer man ka kung paspas ka mukaon? Compare one person class who eats 1 plate in 1 hour, for example, versus one person who eats 1 plate of food in 1 minute. Asa man sa duha ka klase nga tao ang magburot ang tiyan pinakalit. Di ba katong paspas mukaon? So the faster you eat, the more bloated you become or the more distended your stomach become. And this is what you should remember. Kung muburot kani ng imong tiyan, something is telling the brain, dako kag trabahoon din ha. Daghan kag i-digest din ha. So secret baya din daghan acid o din secret pug daghang acid. Kay perti kung buruta sa tiyan. So daghan ko kag i-digest. So you need daghang acid. Meaning to say, the simple formula is, with distension of the stomach comes more acid production. So when your meals are hurried, so ayaw gid mo sugot mo ingon inyong CI, oh, you have 15 minutes to eat. Ma'am, do you want me to have ulcer? Ana dayon. Ha? Give me 45 minutes at least. No? Ana gid na, ha? Ma'am, do you want me to have ulcer? Ingnon di mo si nag-nurse man ka. Oh. So number 1 siguro nga sakit sa mga nurses class, ulcer. Ulcer because of the kind of meals we have and our meals are irregular. Kana bitaw di pagkakakaon kay busy pa man unya na lang kamo kaon ug wa na dili na busy wa nay hasol ang imong trabaho. Okay? So irregular, sir, what relation does it have to ulcer when your meals are irregular? Well, simple raman na class. Foods are buffers. Foods are buffers. It consumes the acid you produce. Meaning to say, if your meals are regular, breakfast, lunch, dinner, all throughout the day, you have buffers. Kaya ni kaon man ka. Buffer meaning it consumes the acid you produce. So kung ang tao walay kaon, let's say namahaw, wala namahaw, wala na niudto, diritsog panihapon, are you protected by the morning and by the lunch? Di ba wala? There are no buffers at all. So it exposes yourself to periods where hydrochloric acid is up and high. That's why hurried and irregular meals could cause ulcer. Bitaw, tingnan mo sino siya, 15 minutes to eat. Sige ma'am, ikay gastos ako ang ranitidine o pantoprazole. Di ba? Okay, so there you have it. Hurried and irregular meals. What else? There could also be increased acid production by reason of genetics. Kanabitang kaliwat, asa man dapita sa pagkakaliwat ang makakos og increased acid. Because there are some people class whose genetic structure or ang ilahang kaliwat is tag-as gyud or baga gyud ang ilahang gastric parietal cells. So baga ang ilang gastric parietal cells. What does it mean when you have more gastric parietal cells than normal other people? Does it follow class nga mas daghan po kag acid? Yes. With more gastric parietal cells compared to other people means you produce more acid compared to other people. So that's how genetics affect peptic ulcer disease. Another one, your personality could also affect you. Na may mga tao class nga perfectionist. Na ay mga tao nga workaholic. Na ay mga tao nga na ay mga leadership skills. These are what we call as the type A personality. Kana bitawng dili mahimutang og di mahuman ang trabaho or murag mamatay kung walay trabaho. These are the type A persons. We call them as the type A personality, which could be attributed to or which could lead to increased acid production. And of course, naapod tayo usa din nga di gyud nato makontrol ang atong pagka-type O, blood type O. So when your blood type is type O, you have more chances of developing peptic ulcer than those who are not type O. O nalipay ba ya ang mga type A? Ang blood type A, mausa na siya higher chances of gastric cancer. Okay? So ang blood type O is more on ulcers, while blood type A is more on gastric cancer. So in summary, class, looking at all this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these are instances where acid production is increased. And when acid production is increased, pwede siyang mo-overflow into the duodenum. And since the duodenum does not have the characteristics of a stomach, it gets eroded, a condition called duodenal ulcer. How about the other one, class? The other one is the reduction in the mucus production. Ang mucus, again, class, are produced by the gastric epithelial cells. And these epithelial cells are very hardworking to form so much mucus in order to coat the stomach and protect the stomach against the acid it produces. However, there are instances where ang paghimo nimo og mucus kay apektado or hinay. So what are those instances nga makapaslow down sa mucus production? Number 1, these are those who had been taking NSAIDs. NSAIDs are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. These are the more common pain relievers we take. Okay? Aspirin, ibuprofen, those mefenamic acids, or magsakit imong puson, inom kag Midol, sakit imong ulo, inom kag Saridon or Rexidol, sakit imong lawas, inom kag Alaxan. These are NSAIDs. You take them for pain. How does it work? Pain, class, is felt by a person because of the hormone prostaglandin. Isikrit manggod na ang prostaglandin, class, when there is something wrong in the body to give us a sensation of pain, to make it a warning sign. Pain at all is not that bad because it tells us that something is wrong. Do you need rest or you have some problems in the body? So it triggers or it gives you a warning na something is wrong. That's why pain is there. It's a protective mechanism. So when something is wrong, the brain will signal the release of prostaglandin for you to feel pain. For example, taas imong BP, huot kaayo, nagspasam imong mga ugat, the brain will tell you, oh, tagaigo na siya prostaglandin, dinirelease mo prostaglandin, so nanakit imong tangkugo. Okay? It's a warning sign. That's because of prostaglandin. But when you take pain relievers, it essentially blocks the prostaglandin so you do not feel the pain. Kung sakit imong ngipon, what makes you feel the sakit? Prostaglandin. If you drink Advil or Midol or any other pain relievers, it blocks prostaglandin. Will you still feel the pain? Not anymore. That's how pain relievers work. But class, let me remind you, prostaglandin is not just for pain. Prostaglandin is also for the formation of mucus in the stomach. Meaning to say, more and more prostaglandin blockers are taken or more and more pain relievers are taken, you reduce less and less the amount of mucus your body produces. So as you block the pain, you likewise block the mucus formation. And is the mucus formation important to protect the stomach? Yes. That's why with pain relievers, comes the loss of mucus, comes the damage to the stomach. Kung madamage ang stomach, ang samad na sa mismong stomach. That's why we call it gastric ulcer. Other conditions, class, aside from NSAIDs, class, that could lead to a reduction in the production of mucus is a certain kind of infection. And that is what we call as the H. pylori infection. An H. pylori infection is a gram-negative bacteria that we obtain either from food or from drinks. And ako na lang nang i-advance og sulti on saan pag-manage ang H. pylori, we treat it with a triad of medications. It's a mix of Pepto-Bismol plus tetracycline plus Flagyl or metronidazole. So it's a combination of medications, ha? Pepto-Bismol or Bismuth or Bismuth is a cytoprotector. It forms a mucus to coat the stomach. That's Pepto-Bismol. Then we have tetracycline, which is an antibiotic. Then we have metronidazole Flagyl, which is also an antibiotic and an antiprotozoal as well. Kanang Flagyl, commonly na ninyo makita sa amoebiasis. So antiprotozoal siya. Amoebiasis. And take note, class, let me remind you that when a person is taking Flagyl, you have to avoid drinking anything that contains alcohol. Bawal mo inom beer, wine, or anything that has alcohol in it. Why? Because you will have that unpleasant feelings. The same feeling that you get when you undergo therapy for alcoholism. Kanang mga palahubog, naa sila treatment, hataga na sila tambal, tawag na disulfiram antabuse, basta tambal ihatag sa ilaha. Sige sila inom ana. Nga kung moinom gani na sila alcohol, mura na sila mamatay ang ilang pamati. Lain kayo ang ilang pamati. So sa ato pa, mutagam sila, moingon sila, di na jud ko moinom, kay mura kog mamatay. Pero tungod ito sa reaction sa medication o sa alcohol. And the same is true when you take Flagyl. So nagani mo yung amoebiasis, gainom mo Flagyl, unya mag-inom mo, sus mura mo times 10 hangover inyong pamati. So makaingon mo di na gyud ko mo inom. So that's how we manage your H. pylori infection. Now, I have mentioned already, class, the two causes of peptic ulcer, which are classified into two. Namely, you have your increased acid production and as well as the decreased mucus production. Let's now discuss on the different kinds of ulcer. As I have said, class, we categorize ulcers into two. We have your gastric ulcer and your duodenal ulcer. So let's try to distinguish the two. In terms of symptoms, class, gastric and duodenal ulcers are more or less the same. Okay? Such that asa man dapita ang sakit, naagid na siya sa epigastric pain. And the kind of pain is dull, aching, and burning. So you would notice a dull, aching, and burning pain at the epigastric region, which is a natural cause of the erosion to the stomach or the duodenum. So nasamad man imong tiyan or ang imong duodenum, will there be pain? Yes, asa epigastric area. How would you describe the pain? Dull and burning pain. However, class, to distinguish whether the pain is gastric or duodenal, you try to look into asa man siya mo radiate. Asa man siya mo dagandagan. Kay dili man gud na stay put ang pain nga klase sa peptic ulcer. Mudagan na siya either to the right or mudagan siya either to the left. Okay? Now, asa man mudagan ang pain, asa man mo radiate ang pain when there is gastric ulcer. It radiates to the left. While the duodenal radiates to the right. Nganong ingon ana man sir? Because of the location of the different organs. If you remember your 9 planes, kung gipa-drawing mo ana sa una, or gipa-memorize mo ana sa una, tanawa ra gud ni class, di ba? This is the right, this is the left. Okay? This is the right, this is the left. This is the esophagus, this is the stomach, and this is the duodenum. Meaning to say, if the pain radiates going to the left, asa ang samad? Asa ang samad? Nasa stomach. If the pain radiates to the right, asa ang samad? Duodenal. So meaning to say, while the pain is epigastric, nasa tunga, dull, aching, and burning, if it flows to the right, duodenal. If it flows to the left, then it is the gastric ulcers. Now, whether gastric or duodenal ulcer, class, mas kuyaw kung asymptomatic ka. Kung wa jud ko'y gipamati, unya naa ko tanan nga mga risk. Kinsa man kanay na ay risk, workaholic, way paniudto, kay perting bisiha, daghan gipirmahan. Daghan gi-entertain nga mga concerns. Nya kung mukaon man gani nagtrabaho, nya kadiyot. Mga pi katulos sa kaadlaw. Mo inom panagsa. Di lang noon manigarilyo, perfectionist, kinsa man na sila. Naa sila gipamati unya magsige pag yung inom og mga pain relievers. Kinsa man na sila? I am not feeling anything. I am not feeling anything. And that is even more concerning. Why? Because mukalit na lang na class og suka ba nagdugo or malibang ba na og dugo. Mukalit lang na. Nga naman, because these asymptomatic people are deprived of the pain warning. Di ba I told you pain is a warning sign? Without pain, nothing has triggered you. Kaya di man punta magpa-check up kung wa tayo gipamati. Di ba? Wa man pod. Di po mo inom og tambal kung wa mo gipamati. So ingon ana magud na. So ang problema is when you are asymptomatic, kay pwede man gud na siyang mukot-kot, no? Until eventually masamad na gyud siya nga ma-perforate, mabuslot na gyud siya baklas. And once mabuslot na siya, that could lead to hemorrhage. So what should we watch out for in asymptomatic people or even with people having symptoms? It is the sudden onset of hemorrhage as indicated by, sa anong pagkaibaw nga nagdugo ang tiyan? Rigidity of the abdomen. Mao ginay ti mailhan. When there is rigidity of the abdomen. So meaning, I'd like to write here, watch out for rigidity of the abdomen. It indicates hemorrhage secondary to perforation of the stomach or that of the duodenum. Okay? Your gastric ulcer class is otherwise known as the poor man's ulcer. While your duodenal ulcer is known as your executive's ulcer. Sa ato pa, basta gani way kwarta, gastric ulcer. Basta gani daghang kwarta, executive's ulcer. Nganong ingon ana? Well, that's the book telling us. And I tried to check nganong ingon ana, no? Nganong mura man siya discriminatory nga moingon tag poor man's ulcer gastric nya executive's ulcer ang duodenal. Okay. Try to review ko no class. What could have caused duodenal? Increased acid or less mucus? Increased acid. Describe executive people. Coffee persons, workaholic persons, skipping meals, irregular meals, type A personalities, managers, leaders. Mo ng executive ulcer. Aritas gastric ulcer. What could have caused gastric ulcer? Increased acid, reduced mucus. Reduced mucus. Unsa to'y number 2 cause of reduced mucus? H. pylori. Where do we get H. pylori? From contaminated foods and water. That has something to do with sanitation, which is common among people living in poor areas. Or NSAIDs, which is number 1. Meaning to say, these are people who had been taking medications without proper medical advice maybe because of some financial constraints. Kana bitong mo self-medicate. Nakita day mo mga manager nga magpalit og kanang amoxicillin dugmokon ibutang sa iyang ingron. Di ba? Kita day mo gingon ana, kita day mo mga executive nga ang iyang samad iyang patuthuan. Asa man na common, di ba sa mga poor areas? So most likely that could have been the cause. And to tell you class again, most common yun ang duodenal ulcer. This is more common such that 80% of the situations are duodenal ulcers, leaving only about 20% to be gastric ulcers. And gastric ulcers are common among people who are 50 years old and above. 50 years old and above. While duodenal ulcers are common among 25 years old to 50 years old. What do you notice about the age? 25 to 50. Isn't this the working age? So that has become the reason. So 25 to 50 years old is the working age or the income earning age, which is attributed to skipped meals or hurried meals or being workaholics also. Okay? Now, another question would be, when does pain occur when you have gastric and duodenal ulcers? We can reckon the pain class from the time that the food is eaten. Di ba samad maning gastric ulcer? Samad man sa ning duodenal ulcer. Ganahan ba ta nga ang samad hikapon? Di ba dili? So whenever food touches the exposed nerve endings in an ulcer, there is pain. Okay? There is pain when food touches the exposed nerve endings of the samad. So kung gastric, pain occurs when food comes in contact with the samad in the tiyan. Sa duodenal, pain comes when food comes in contact with the samad at the duodenum. So the question is, when does pain occur? It occurs when food arrives. And when does that arrive? In gastric, it's 30 minutes to 1 hour, while in your duodenal, it's 3 to 4 hours. Okay? So the pain in gastric ulcer is 30 minutes to 1 hour from the time of intake of food, while 3 to 4 hours in the case of duodenal. Now, will food relieve pain? In gastric ulcer class, food triggers pain. Okay? Food triggers pain. While your duodenal, food relieves pain. Nganong ingon ana man na, sir? Because as food comes into the stomach, the food comes in contact with the exposed ulcer. But in duodenal, if the food is in the stomach, because nikaon ka, then there is a delay time before the acid or the food comes into the duodenum. You buy time. Pero musakit ra gud gihapon. So imbes ang acid kay mulahos na sa duodenum, dili sa, because you are using the acid to digest the food that's still at the level of the stomach. You tend to buy time when you take food in patients with duodenal. And finally, in terms of symptoms, will there be bleeding? Naabay bleeding? Yes, there is always bleeding. But how is bleeding reflected in gastric ulcers? It is reflected in the form of vomiting blood. You call it hematemesis. Will there be bleeding in duodenal ulcers? Yes, and it is reflected in the stools, such that you will see dark stools called your melena. Melena, class, means old dark blood. It indicates that the bleeding comes from a higher structure. Gikan sa duodenum, mudagan pag jejunum, ileum, sa imuhang cecum, sa imong ascending, transverse, descending, sigmoid. Before mo gawas sa rectum, kalayo pa niyang daganan. So paggawas na sa tae dito sa toilet bowl, kita nimo itom na siya color, na digest na siya. Karaan na. So when the bleeding is sourced from an upper GI bleeding, the stools would reflect to be old and dark. But when the bleeding is on a lower GI bleeding, example, hemorrhoids or colon problems, paggawas, labas ang dugo. Fresh ang blood. You call that as hematochezia. So kung karaan na ang dugo, old blood, such as duodenum, esophageal bleeding, gastric bleeding, pagawas ana, old na ang imuhang dugo. You call it as melena. So dali ra na, meloma na melena. Pero ang hematochezia, fresh pa siya. O, hematochezia. Okay? So those are the distinctions between gastric ulcers and duodenal ulcers. Now, let's talk about, class, the diagnostic test for ulcers. How do we diagnose ulcers? We diagnose it, class, so just disregard this. We diagnose it through, number one, what is the gold standard? What is the choice? What is that procedure nga ikaw mismo makita nimo nga naay samad dinha? It's through your endoscopy. And if endoscopy is not possible or cannot be afforded, we can use our barium swallow. Remember, barium swallow includes or requires that patients must have NPO for at least 8 hours before kamo inom sa imuhang barium sulfate. And because it is insoluble, there is always the risk nga di na nimo siya ma-digest, di na nimo siya ma-excrete, such that pwede siyang mo-compact sa imuhang lawas, and when compacted, it could cause bowel obstruction. That's why we always remind our patients to promote the excretion of barium through either encourage oral fluids or laxatives, or to take high fiber diet. Okay? Now, how do we manage, finally, our peptic ulcer disease? Let's talk about the management of peptic ulcer disease. Number one, let's have a bland diet. Unsa man ang bland diet? Tabang. Okay? Our diet must be tabang or bland, free from any other stimulating taste, because you know that when stimulants are present, it can trigger the release of more and more acid. In fact, class, remember the rule. whenever there is an attack of ulcer, nikalit o sakit ang imong ulcer, ang rule is place the patient on NPO. Okay? The rule is when there is a sudden attack of ulcer, nihapdos ang imuhang tiyan, the rule is NPO. Okay? Lain ra bata kay muhapdos atong tiyan pasabot mukaon na ta. Okay? But class, as a rule, when pain attacks in ulcer, place the patient on NPO. Kay basin simbako, nabuslot na diha imong tiyan, ang pagkaon pwede nang mukatag dito sa imong peritoneum. Kay nabuslot na diay ang imuhang tiyan. Okay? So, always remember, bland diet or avoid stimulating foods and small, frequent feedings. Akong question, nganong mag-small, frequent feedings man? Small, frequent feedings versus large meals. When you take large amounts of food, what happens to the stretch of the stomach? Di ba mo, distend siya. And when the stomach is distended, it triggers the release of acid. That's why small, frequent feedings. Okay? Of course, you stop your stimulants and you manage your stress because these are the causes of attacks in the sudden increase of the levels of hydrochloric acid. Number 4, avoid consuming large amounts of milk. Okay? Avoid consuming large amounts of milk. Sayop dito sa mama sa una, sir. Ingon manggod si mama, sir, nga basta na ay ulcer, sir, kay moinom ko sa kalata nga Alpine. Mamanggot sulting mama sa una. Tambal ko na sa ulcer, Alpine. Kay nga no, di po taka-blame nila, class. Because the notion is if there's too much acid in the stomach, then drink something alkaline to neutralize the environment. But that's wrong. Ano man? Because with acid plus alkaline, you neutralize the stomach. Remember, the stomach is naturally acidic. The body will undertake really to keep the stomach acidic because that's how it is. That's the normal position of the body. It must always be acidic. So because there is acid, giinan nimo gatas na neutral. And since the body must maintain the acidity, what will the body do? It will produce more and more acid. So it triggers more acid production. That's why drinking large amounts of milk in cases of ulcer is wrong. So avoid consuming large amounts of milk. And of course, you have your medications. And then you have your surgery. Okay, narita. Arita some medications first before we go to surgery. What are the different classes of medications that are given to patients with ulcers? Okay, let's start with number 1. What are your different anti-ulcer medications? You have your antacids. Okay, remember class, your antacids are like fire extinguishers. It extinguishes bouts of increased acid production. Remember that antacids do not stop the production of acid. It merely extinguishes or neutralizes them. Kung ang stomach nimo acid, okay, you drink an alkaline medication in order to neutralize the hyperacidity level in the stomach. That's why the effect is almost immediate. Imagine 5 minutes from taking the medication. Muhapdos gani mong tiyan mo, inom gani kag Kremil S, 5 minutes, pas-pas. Huwag tang dayon ang sakit. Okay? You drink Maalox, pas-pas, 5 minutes, huwag tang dayon ang sakit. But magnesium hydroxide and aluminum hydroxide are two separate antacids, ha? Lain ang magnesium, lain ang aluminum, pero gisagol sila in order to counter the side effects. Since magnesium causes diarrhea and aluminum causes constipation, para wa ning duha, gisagol siya, nahimo na siyang Maalox or Maalox. Other forms are Gaviscon, calcium carbonate, or mga Tums. These are your antacids. Again, when we speak of antacids, they are fire extinguishers. They are rapid acting. But class, take note, when you give your antacids, it must be given separate from any other medication. Di na nimo pwede idungan ang imong antacid with another medication. Why? Because that other medication will be rendered less effective. Ngano man, ang tambal manggod naka-design na siya para ma-dissolve sa acid sa stomach. Okay? Ang problema kung nag-antacid ka, ma-dissolve ba na sa atong stomach? Dili. Kay wa man na-dissolve, mo effect di ay na. That's why, remember, basta antacids, di pwede idungan og another medication. Kinahanglan, kung mag-inom man gani ka, at least 1 to 2 hours ang gap from the time of taking the antacids. So 1 to 2 hours apart. That's for antacids. Another medication is the H2 blocker. When we say H2 blocker, this refers to those medications which blocks the H2 receptor sites. So it blocks what? The H2 receptor sites. Ngano di ay, sir? Kung matrigger man gud ang H2 receptor sites, it will make the proton pump run. Kuha ninyo? Ang H2 blocker, once ma-sensitize, will make the proton pumping run. When the proton pump runs, acid is produced. So, example, coffee, alcohol, cigarette smoking. Are these materials stimulant to H2 receptors or stimulates the H2 receptors? Yes. Such that when H2 receptors are stimulated, unsa may ang trabaho? Ingno niya ang proton pump dagan. Mudagan ang proton pump unsa may ibomba? Acid. So kung walay mo padagan, walay mabomba nga acid. So that's how H2 receptors blocker works. One very important or more common brand or class of H2 blocker is cimetidine. And remember, class, that cimetidine could affect certain hormones in the body such that it could cause lesser libido. O, ayaw mong inom ani ha. It can cause gynecomastia. Ano sa man ang gynecomastia? Mudako ang tutoy sa lalaki. Okay? So, ayaw sa nang babae mo inom og cimetidine aron mudako ang tutoy, dili sa laki raman pud ng gynecomastia. Okay? It can reduce libido. It can cause gynecomastia ang cimetidine. But there are other brands where you can choose. Pwede ka mag-ranitidine or mag-famotidine and any other medication that ends with tidine. Number 3, you have your proton pump inhibitors. Unsa man ang proton pump inhibitors? They are the pumping structures that pumps acid. Okay? They are the machine that produces acid. Bisan pag niinom kag alcohol, or nanabako ka, or ni-take ka og mga stimulants, if the machine will not run, there will be no acid production at all. Okay? There will be no acid production at all if the machine will not run. So how do we stop the machine from running? We give proton pump inhibitors because they are those machine that produces acid. So we turn off the machine that pumps hydrogen ion. We call that as your proton pump inhibitors. And more important examples are omeprazole, pantoprazole, no, pantoprazole, pantolok, no, mao ginay pinaka-common, or you have your lansoprazole. Okay? Another medication class is your cytoprotector. Unsa man ang cytoprotector? Example katong gingon ganina, Bismuth, katong Pepto-Bismol, katong gihatag nato sa triad of medications in patients with H. pylori. Di ba tulo man to? Tetracycline, Pepto-Bismol, and metronidazole flagyl. So Bismuth is a cytoprotector, or your sucralfate. Sucralfate. So unsa man ni siya nga medication? They are cytoprotectors. From the word, they are protectors. It triggers the production of mucus, or it creates a mucus lining to coat the stomach. Okay? It is given in order to create a thick fluid or a mucus-like fluid to coat the stomach and protect it against so much acid. Okay? But when you take Bismuth, remember that normal side effect is ang imong stools kay mo block ang imuhang stools. And finally, you have your prostaglandin analogs. Prostaglandin analogs. Prostaglandin analogs are prostaglandin medications. it contains prostaglandin. Example, ana class Cytotec. Misoprostol Cytotec. What does it contain? Prostaglandin. Why do you have to drink prostaglandin analogs? Remember what is the action of prostaglandin? Di ba class, ang prostaglandin is one where it is responsible for pain. Mao nang niinom ka og pain reliever to block prostaglandin. And as you block prostaglandin, you block the mucus production. And in order to bring back the mucus production, what should you give? Prostaglandin. Ibalik ra pud nimo si prostaglandin. Because prostaglandin promotes mucus formation. However, class, you cannot give this to pregnant women. Nganon di man ni siya pwede hatag pregnant women? Mao ni siya pampalaglag. Mao ni siya abortion medication. Mao nang moingon mo nga tambal man na sa ulcer. Tinuod, tambal siya sa ulcer, pero pampalaglag sad pud na siya, class. Ako, I had a chance to have a walk in one of the very famous streets in Manila. Ha? Tawgon ka, simbahan, tawgon ka. Pamparigla, ana, pamparigla. Kulain man ang pamparigla sa amuha, manghagis man ang pamparigla. Ang ila, pamparigla, ana, pag tanaw na ko, class, tablitas. Tanaw na ko, Cytotec. And there I knew. Nga naman, what is inside Cytotec? Prostaglandin. And prostaglandin, class, is the contra of progesterone. You have learned in your maternal and child health nursing that the hormone that keeps pregnancy is progesterone. Sa Tagalog, pampakapit, mukupot sa bata. Kung ang mabdus mag-spotting, ang tambal, progesterone, pampakapit. Kung nagani kay threatened abortion, ang tambal, progesterone, pampakapit. Kuptan ang bata para di matagak. But kontra magud ng progesterone and prostaglandin. Mura na siya calcium and phosphorus. What do we know? Kung mutaas ang calcium, maubos ang phosphorus. Kung mutaas ang phosphorus, maubos ang calcium. Mura siya og siso ba? Maupod na si progesterone and prostaglandin. In pregnancy, what do we need? Progesterone, prostaglandin. Progesterone, we keep progesterone high and prostaglandin low. But when you drink prostaglandin in Cytotec, what happens to prostaglandin? It goes up such that progesterone goes down. That's why progesterone is pampakapit, but prostaglandin is pampalaglag. That's why we cannot give prostaglandin to patients who are pregnant. And finally, let's talk about surgery. The surgery for peptic ulcer disease is called gastrectomy. Okay? But prior to gastrectomy, we do vagotomy. But prior to vagotomy, we give medications. What do I mean? As much as possible, and in many instances, class, peptic ulcer disease is manageable with medications. Common lang nga naiuban nga di gyud mo patuo, especially kung Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, di gyud na mo patuo og tambal. Kinahanglan gyud to tangtangon ang tumor para ma-okay ang tao. But other than Zollinger-Ellison syndrome, there are very rare instances nga ang tao di maminaw sa tambal. So since di man maminaw sa tambal or nabuslot naman ang tiyan sa imuhang pasyente, what do? We do number 1, vagotomy. Unsa man ang vagotomy? We remove a certain portion of the vagus nerve. Ngano man sir, unsa may labot sa vagus? Ang vagus, class, triggers a parasympathetic stimulation. Meaning, kung naa kay vagus nerve, ma-activate ang parasympathetic, and kung ma-activate ang parasympathetic, mo produce og acid. So aron di mo produce og acid, do not parasympathetic. And to not parasympathetic, we take the vagus nerve. That's why we do vagotomy. But that is not enough. We need to do as well a surgery called gastrectomy. Gastrectomy is the removal of a portion of the stomach. Removal of a portion of the stomach. And it could come in two forms. You call it Billroth 1 or Billroth 2. Unsa may kalainan ana nila, sir? So when we speak of Billroth 1, this is a connection between the stomach going to the duodenum. That's why we call it gastroduodenostomy. Ang Billroth 2 is the connection between the stomach going to the jejunum. Okay? So to understand that, class. Okay? To understand the distinction between the two, remember this is the esophagus. This is the stomach. Then you have the duodenum. What are the different parts of the stomach? You have the fundus, the corpus, the antrum, and the pylorus. What are the parts of the small intestine? Duodenum, jejunum, and your ileum. Okay? These are the stomach, and these are the small intestine. Okay? Now, what do we do in patients with gastrectomy? Ang goal manggod sa gastrectomy, class, is we remove the ulcer. We remove the samad in gastrectomy. Kung naa kay gastric ulcer, asa man ang samad? Nasa stomach. Okay? Kung naa kay duodenal ulcer, asa man ang samad? Naasad ka sa duodenum. Remember, the goal of gastrectomy is to remove the ulcer and to remove that portion of the stomach which is responsible for the formation of gastrin. And gastrin triggers the formation of acid. Gastrin is equal to acid. Asa man na dapitag himo? Gihimo na diri sa antrum. The antrum produces gastrin, which in turn causes the secretion of hydrochloric acid. So unsa to'y goal? Two things. We remove the ulcer and we remove that portion which triggers acid production through the release of gastrin. Kinsa to? Si antrum. Okay. Sa Billroth 1, what do we actually remove in Billroth 1 is a portion of a stomach and connect it to the duodenum. So meaning to say, we will remove this portion and connect the remaining portion of the stomach to the duodenum. Stomach going to the duodenum. Meaning to say, esophagus, fundus, corpus, duodenum. Nganong gitangtang man na, sir, naamang gong ulcer din ha. Naasa din ha ang gastrin formation, then acid formation. That's why this is Billroth 1. Billroth 1 indicated for gastric ulcer from the stomach going to the duodenum. How about your Billroth 2? Okay? Sa Billroth 2, asa may samad nimo? Di ba nasa duodenum? So we remove this. Nganong gi-remove na? Because it's the acid-forming area and we remove the ulcer at the duodenum. Meaning to say, the remaining portion of the stomach will be connected now to the jejunum. Kay gitangtang manimong duodenum. That's why this becomes gastrojejunostomy. So distinguish between Billroth 1 and Billroth 2. Billroth 1 is performed when there is a gastric ulcer, such that the flow now becomes esophagus, fundus, corpus, duodenum. Gastroduodenostomy. Ang Billroth 2 is indicated in duodenal ulcers, such that from the esophagus, you go to the fundus, corpus, jejunum. So you call it gastrojejunostomy. And that ends our discussion on peptic ulcer disease.